Hey, Amber Vilhauer here, and during today's Fast Track episode, I want to teach you how to find great podcasts that you can be interviewed on for your next launch. It's no surprise that if you're trying to market your message, market your business online, launch a book, anything like that, you're gonna need to understand the word leverage, okay? We want to leverage to scale your business, scale your message. Leverage is taking an existing asset and using it for your personal gain. Now, that sounds a little manipulative, so knowing me, I like to create win-win experiences for everybody. So it's not just that I'm going out trying to use somebody. I like to lead with value first and then create a win-win situation to where I can gain after they have gained, or at least at the same time. So that's just my personal approach. But podcasting is one of the greatest ways to get your message out to the world and to leverage that opportunity to scale your message and your business. So that is why today I wanted to talk to you about, well, how do we find these podcasters and how do I go out and make sure that I'm engaging with them and getting on more shows? So get ready. Now, I like to be a little creative about all of this, right? So you could first go to iTunes, right? This is where you're going to find one of the largest podcast databases where you can search by category. So for example, if I'm trying to get more entrepreneurial-based podcast interviews, I might go and search under the category of business. I might search under marketing, etc., entrepreneurship. So it might take you a little bit of time to scan through and look through all of the different categories to find out what are direct categories that I can be featured on and what are secondary or related industries that I could speak to as well. So for example, maybe the most direct path for me is business and entrepreneurship and marketing, but maybe an indirect path in might be on a parenting type podcast or a mother's type podcast, because maybe there's a subcategory for moms who are trying to get into business. Now, it may not be that mainstream business and marketing podcast, but I could develop a wonderful niche down audience of moms who are trying to up-level their game in business as well. So you might want to spend a bit of time doing research inside of iTunes and then start to navigate into other top podcasting directories as well, like Spotify and iHeart, etc. So definitely that's the first place to look, is online directories. But the second place that I like to look is I like to get a little creative, and I will go into Google and I'll search something like top 25 podcasts in marketing, and I'll put the year. That way, all of these article sites have compiled lists of the most popular this and the greatest of that and the most top rated of this industry. So I can just pop into the article and start clicking one by one and reviewing the podcast from there. Now, once I see a list of shows, I still need to qualify that show. I still need to make sure that it's active, that they are growing an engaged following, that they have the same audience that I have, that they have similar messaging or core values, right? And I have a separate fast track video around how to, what's your criteria for deciding if this is the proper show for you. But in terms of coming up with the greatest list possible of these different podcast shows that you can be on, you definitely want to search Google and you definitely want to look at directories. But a third one that I like to do, and this is also creative and not something that most people think of. Once you're interviewed on a podcast show, and if it went really well, you like the interviewee or interviewer, you feel like it's a similar audience, and you just feel like they're committed to their growth and they're really engaging with you, these are all great signs that, man, if I could just clone this experience and have 25 more interviews like this, I'd be set. So then it only stands to reason that we should ask for referrals. So I could say, hey, Scott, thanks so much for interviewing me today. This was such a wonderful experience. Now, I know that You probably hang out with other podcasters that are similar to your niche and in your industry. And I wondered, does anybody else come off the top of your head that you think I would be a good fit for? Where maybe you could help introduce me and I could head over and do an interview for them as well, or a related industry. Now, the reality is most people are comfortable with doing something like that because it's going to help their friend fill a great spot for their show, and it's not like it's direct competition, right? So the podcasting community is very supportive and they want to help one another to grow everybody's numbers. So definitely you could be looking for referrals as well. So these are just a few things that you can go out and do if you're looking to get interviewed on more shows. But there's one last thing that I want to leave with you because I think it's an important one. And that is, I encourage you to document your findings and your research and your outreach. So you can create a master spreadsheet, and in one column you can put down a list of all of the podcasts that are a wish list, the shows that you want to try to get interviewed on. But along the way, as you do outreach to those shows, I would encourage you to make notes. This person declined, this person never got back to me, this person did decide to go ahead and interview me, and we scheduled the date for, the interview for this date. You just want to document all of that outreach, because imagine now 3 years ahead when you're launching your next book or you want to do your next wave of publicity, you want to be able to look back and remember, oh yeah, I did want to target that show, but I never heard back. So now I can customize my communication to this person so that it looks like I'm really on top of my A game. So I had to add that tip in. Always document everything. And if you thought that this tip was helpful, let me know in the comments below. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel to get notified when future videos like this become available, because there's always more to give. And you can head on over to ambervilhauer.com to look at all of the ways that I might be able to support your marketing, your launch, your website. And until the next one, just remember, no guts, no glory. Thanks a lot.